about to be joined by the one and only Charles Barkley. As we sit here on July 7th, what we all thought was going to be a nice, quiet offseason for the Sixers has turned into anything but, as they set the NBA world upside down last week when Mike Gansey, out of nowhere, traded for Jaylen Brown. And now, to get his opinion on everything, Charles Barkley joins us. Charles, what's going on, man?
Man, I'm doing good. Just getting ready to head to Lake Tahoe for that big celebrity golf tournament. The only place in the world that's not hot. So I'm excited to get out there tomorrow and play a couple of practice rounds, and then the fun starts on the weekend.
Awesome, man. Well, good luck. But I got to ask you, your first reaction when you heard Jaylen Brown was getting traded from the Celtics to the 76ers?
I was like, this can't be a true story. This is some, there's so much fake stuff on the internet now. I'm like, no, they didn't trade him to the Sixers. Number one, you're like, wow. And secondly, you're like, well, what they give up? Then you're like, they gave up on Paul George and some draft picks. I says, man, the Sixers just got away with murder, man. I says, because, they were dead in the water, to be honest with you, because with Paul's contract and Joel's inability to stay healthy, they were going to be out the running for the next 3 or 4 or 5 years. And now all of a sudden they're a legit contender. And, I've obviously heard everybody's opinion. I'm not sure what the hell the Celtics were doing. There's no way rationally you can think that's a good trade. Giving up an Asian guy to a guy who just probably was the MVP the first half of the season. It's crazy.
It is crazy. But how does he fit into the offensive scheme of the Sixers now?
Well, I mean, listen, you're going to make that work. I mean, him and Maxey and Escom and whatever they get out of Joel, they're going to be a really good team. Nick is a hell of a coach, and Jaylen's a hell of a player. But the big winner in this conversation is probably Tyrone Maxey, because he was going to be out. He was going to be irrelevant for the next few years because the Sixers were not going to be contenders. But he's, to me, the big winner because now they got a legit shot. Because you look at the East, the Knicks aren't going to be as good next year. They're losing players free agency. The Celtics are definitely not going to be as good. So Toronto's better. But the Sixers just became a contender in the East. Man, do you go from being irrelevant to being a serious contender in the Eastern Conference for the next few years? It's pretty good for Philadelphia right now.
Yeah, it is pretty good for Philadelphia. Let's look at it from Jaylen Brown's perspective. Now, look, you experienced it. You got traded from Philly, which was a terrible trade for us here in the city. What's his mindset now when the Celtics basically say, hey, we don't want you, and we're going to send you to our rival, the 76ers. We don't even care what we get back.
Hey, listen, he's got to be steaming right now, to be honest with you. Number one, they gave him away. Listen, Paul George was a hell of a player 5 years ago. No disrespect to him. He's aging. And you guys know players don't get better as they get older. Old people don't get healthy. They die. I always say that all the time. He's not going to be near as good as Jaylen Brown for the next few years. So they gave him away for nothing. But also, you're like, yeah, we want to get rid of you so bad. We gave you away basically for nothing. And we get to play against you multiple times and probably in the playoffs. So if I'm Jaylen Brown, man, this is going to make me you talk about it. You guys know, man, during the summer when you're training, you're just playing against air and you're trying to motivate yourself. If this doesn't motivate you as Jaylen Brown, you're not a competitor. This was because not only did you trade me after I had probably my best season, you got to play against me 4 or 5 times a year and the playoffs. And let me tell you something. If I'm Adam Silver, I'm saying, hey, scratch that damn preseason, that schedule we were been working on probably for the last 3 months. The Sixers against Boston is going to open up the NBA season. He's like, yeah, I know we're probably halfway done with the season. Because obviously it's coming out sometime soon. They're like, no, scratch everything. the Sixers against Boston is going to be the headline game to open the NBA season. I mean, this is so good on a bunch of different fronts.
It sounds like a Christmas game to me, too.
Ricky Bo, 100% Christmas Day. And 100% Christmas Day. But it's definitely got to open up the NBA season. It really does. It's got to open up the NBA season. But it's definitely going to be a Christmas Day game.
Where all right, so you got Jaylen Brown. Where do you think that leaves a guy like Joel Embiid? Obviously, you never know how much he's going to play in a season. But, I mean, how do you look at Joel Embiid right now?
Well, if I'm Joel Embiid, I'm saying I just got the best lifeline I've ever had. Like, me and my team were going to be irrelevant for the next few years. I'm going to get in the best shape I've ever been in. And everything, like the Sixers, if Joel can play at an elite or an all-star level, they're probably the best team in the East. Like, you look at the way this thing, okay, let's talk about tandems. Scotty Barnes and Kawhi going to be a problem. Jalen Brunson and Towns are a problem. But then you go Maxey and Jaylen Brown, they're in that conversation. Who else got a better 1-2 punch than the Sixers? I mean, Maxey, I love Maxey. And like I say, Jaylen Brown was probably the MVP for the first half of the season. Probably, I think he finished 4th or 5th. But they got a terrific tandem. But like I said, to get back to your point, if I'm Joel, this might save his career because he ain't got to be the best player. He's just got to try to stay healthy. So this is a great lifeline for him because the Sixers were going to be stuck with his contract the next 4 years. They wasn't going to be able to trade him. We all surprised they were able to get rid of Paul George's contract because he's making $50 million for another 2 years, and he's an aging player. So, man, I think Joel and Tyrese, they got to be the happiest two dudes in the NBA right now because they were going to be irrelevant. The Sixers were irrelevant. The Sixers were irrelevant 2 weeks ago. And now, because you're like, okay, the Knicks are going to be, they're the champs. Boston was going to be good with Tatum and Brown. The Hawks are up and coming. Kawhi and Scotty Barnes are a terrific tandem. I love Scotty Barnes. I think he's probably the most underrated player in the league. And the Sixers, like, who else? Orlando was going to be better. The Wizards are probably going to be better with Anthony Davis, Beyonce, and Trae Young. Now the Sixers, when they walk in any gym now, like, we got a chance of having the two best players. And I'm not even counting Joel. When you take Tyrese out there and Jaylen Brown, when they walk in any gym, like, we probably got the best two players in the gym.
Yeah, it's exciting not only for Joel, it's exciting for Sixers fans. And now, Charles, we're getting greedy in the city because not only did we get Jaylen Brown, now we want LeBron James. Now, what do you see?
Let me tell you something. That ship is sailed. I've said this. The biggest criticism of LeBron James has always been that he packs his team, because he's always packed his team. Because he's chasing this imaginary Michael Jordan ghost, what he needs to let go. Listen, and I love LeBron. He spends more time talking about he's the GOAT. And Michael Jordan says, I never say I'm the GOAT. And then you got these people who argue all the time, which is stupid. LeBron, the only way he should go back to Cleveland and finish his career there. If he goes to Philly, people are going to say he's ring chasing to catch Michael. If he goes to Golden State, they're going to say he's ring chasing. He don't have no affiliation to Philadelphia or Golden State. What he does have is his hometown team who, listen, I'll be honest with you guys. If he goes to the Cavaliers, which is what I think the rightful thing, because that's his home, he grew up there, they're probably going to be favored to win the East. in my opinion, because they got a good team. They're lacking leadership, and LeBron's a great leader. And to me, it'll be a fitting way for him to finish his career, in my opinion. But he got no affiliation with Philly. He got no affiliation with the Golden State Warriors. I hear people talking about, yeah, it would be fun to watch all those old geezers in Golden State play. Yeah, it would be fun. If he went to Philly, y'all probably would definitely be the favorite, to be honest with you guys. But he don't have no affiliation to Philly. And stop getting greedy, too.
Yeah, listen, I agree with you. I want LeBron here, but I think he's going to Cleveland. I've been saying that for the last few days. I think he's going to Cleveland. But you just mentioned he's chasing the imaginary ghost of Michael Jordan. Where does Charles Barkley weigh in on that discussion? Is MJ the GOAT or is LeBron the GOAT?
The three best basketball players I've ever seen, in order, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James. And listen, we all got our own opinion. Some people think Kareem's there. But the three best basketball players I've seen were Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron. And I'll tell you guys the difference. Nobody ever said Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant was a nice guy. Now, LeBron's a nice guy. That, to me, like Michael and Kobe, they want to kill you at all costs. That's what separates them, in my opinion. Everybody like LeBron. He's a nice man. He's a great, great basketball player. But them other two guys, they were fanatics. They were dangerous. I didn't know Kobe as much as I knew Michael and played around him, whatever. But Michael was dangerous. He wanted to win at all costs. He didn't worry about friends. And Kobe was the same way. You talk to his Laker teammates. He didn't care about his Laker teammates. Him and Shaq fought all the time. He said, I don't want to be friends with you guys. I want to win at all costs. So when I had that debate, I said, you can pick who you want to. But if you talk about guys who singularly only care about winning, I've never seen anybody like Michael and Kobe.
You know, Charles, what was that like? Like being up against Michael Jordan? I mean, we know you were one of the best, but I mean, you're going up against the best of the best. What was that like going up against Michael Jordan?
You know, Ricky, so when I used to, Chuck Davis gave me a compliment one time during the Olympics. He says, you're the second best basketball player in the world. I says, who's better than me? He said, that guy right over there. I said, let me tell you something, Chuck. I'm finna put an end to that. I finally got some help. I said, we're going to play the Bulls for the championship and settle this mano a mano. I says, Michael Jordan had more help. I got Dan Marley and Kevin Johnson now, and we're going to the finals. We're going to play the Bulls. And I remember the last time I talked to Chuck about that, he says, I said, yeah, probably, because I never thought anybody was better at basketball to me, to be honest with you. I thought they just had more help. And I remember talking to my daughter after game one of the finals, because I screwed up game one of the finals. I didn't have my team ready to play. The moment was too big, kind of like that damn soccer game last night. When I was watching that soccer game last night, I was saying, yo, man, they look really slow and lethargic. The moment's too big for them. I was sitting around drinking with a couple of my friends. I said, look, they're reacting everything a little slow. And I said, that happened to me in game one of the finals. I said, because I wanted my teammates to get going because role players play better at home. And then when I tried to turn it on, it was too late. But to answer your question, my daughter I had told her we were going to win the championship. And after game one, she was really upset. And I said, that's okay, we'll be fine. And I remember after going to game two, I said, guys, get on my back. I'm going to show y'all why I'm the best basketball player in the world tonight. And I had 48 and about 17. Michael Jordan had 52. And I remember when I went home, my daughter was upset. She said, Dad, you told me y'all. I said, let me tell you something. for the first time in my life, I actually think somebody is better at basketball than me. And I had been great friends with Michael a lot. And like I say, if I get some help, I like my chances. But that was the first time that night I was sitting there about 3 o'clock in the morning looking at tape, trying to figure out how to beat these guys. I said, man, I think this guy, I remember telling my daughter, I said, I think this guy's better at basketball than me. And Ricky, that, you always thought you were going to get people out. That's the only way you ever going to be great at a sport. And that was, but he was I'll give you another example. So we're playing on the Dream Team. We're playing in Portland, Oregon in the Tournament of Americas. So me, David Robinson, and Chuck and Michael go play 18 holes that morning. And then Chuck said, let's go back and get some rest. Michael said, I'm going to play another 18. I'm like, whoa, we got a game. Chuck, we got a game. He says, I'll be fine. So that night we get to the game. We're playing Puerto Rico. And he says, Charles, you got this guy. David, you got this guy. Chuck, you got this guy. And then Michael says, I got that guy. And Chuck said, well, he's the point guard. And Michael looks up and says, I got the point guard. He said something about me in the newspaper. Guys, let me tell you something. Michael was screaming at this little kid, don't you ever mention my name again. Like, we're looking at him like, yo, man, there's something wrong. This little kid from Puerto Rico, Michael won't let him dribble. He's screaming at him the whole time, screaming, don't you ever talk about me again. I'm Michael Jordan. I'm the best damn player in the world. And you're from damn Puerto Rico. You better not ever, and we're looking like, yo, man, what the hell? Rick, he was guarding this dude, screaming at him at the top of his lungs and the kid said, like, he was excited, looking forward to seeing how great Michael Jordan was. He says, I think he's a great player, but I think I'm a great player too. Michael took offense to everything, man. He's screaming at some kid from down Puerto Rico after playing 36 holes of golf. He is the most competitive, and the closest I've ever seen come to that is Kobe.
All right, yeah. How competitive are you going to be this weekend at this golf tournament?
I'm going to play great. I'm playing great right now. I'm looking forward to it. First of all, the one reason I love going to Tahoe, it's the only place in the world that's not hot. This will be like my 28th straight year, and I've already looked at the report, and for some reason, no matter how hot it is in Philly, or I'm in Alabama right now, no matter how hot it is, it's going to be 70 degrees, slight breeze, no humidity. Man, it's one of the great weeks. It's one of the great weeks during the summer, and it's 90 celebrities, and it's just a fun week. You play golf. You don't even tee off early. You tee off about 8, 9 in the morning. You have to be done by 3 because it's on TV, so you have to be off by 6 o'clock Eastern. And then everybody goes to the beach. We do karaoke every night, and then I ain't even mentioned the gambling and drinking. So the next few days, I'm going to play golf a little bit. There's going to be some good damn drinking. There's going to be some good cigar smoking. And there's going to be some good karaoke going on. But it's a fun week.
That's awesome. Sounds like a good time.
What's your go-to, Charles, karaoke song? When you get called up, what's your go-to song to bring the house down?
Well, so I just got a call from Jay DeMarcus of Rascal Flatts. So he kind of hosts the karaoke. And it's like 5,000 people out there, man. It's crazy. So last year I did Darius Rucker, but this year I'm doing Morgan Wallen. I had some help. I'm doing Morgan Wallen. I had some help.
I didn't know you were a big country guy.
Yeah, I'm going through a stage of country right now for some reason. I'm too old to be listening to rap music because I'm just too old for that. So I'm going through a country music stage right now. Like Dan and Shay are probably my favorite group right now. And then Darius Rucker's good and Kane Brown. But, yeah, I'm doing Morgan Wallen this weekend. So, it's fun, though, man. It's going to be awesome. I wonder if Jason Kelce coming this year. You know, him and Travis, I know Travis is probably not coming because they've been there the last few years. But I hope Jason still comes. But, man, Travis and Jason, they were doing karaoke last year, but Travis is a little busy right now.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
But I hope Jason comes.
So you didn't get the invite to the royal wedding at Madison Square Garden then?
I did.
Oh, you did get the invite. You didn't go?
I don't go to weddings. That's one of I don't go to weddings or funerals, but I did get an invite, and I politely declined because I thought it was going to be a crap show. And I love Travis and Jason, and I've only met Taylor one time. But yeah, I did get an invite, but I said, hey, you know what? That's just too much. I just want to hang out and play golf, and I don't want to dress up and all that other stuff.
Good for you.
But I appreciate the invitation. It was pretty special.
A lot of respect. All right, listen, we got it. The last time you were on the air, we said we were going to golf when you got back into town. So after this Lake Tahoe tournament, we got to set something up.
Hey, I'll be in Philly. Oh, gosh, let me tell you something. So I just, last week, 2 weeks ago, I was in Philly. They had gave me a tour of Mike Trout's new golf course.
Nice, right?
It is one of the best things that I've ever seen. Tiger did a hell of a job. And Mike got all the amenities. Man, it is spectacular. But I say the amenities are top level, but it's one of the most beautiful golf courses I've seen. And man, you guys hey, after next week, I'll be in Philly all summer. Let's get together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll reach out to you. Quick story for you. Ricky Bo got invited to Trout National, and he couldn't go because he had to host this show with me.
Yeah,
how about
that?
Well, I tell you what, Ricky Bo, I'll take you out there, and when you get an off day, you gonna love it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah, Charles, we appreciate the time, my man. Good luck at the tournament, and we'll connect with you when you get back into town.
All right, guys. Hey, tell the Phillies to keep rolling, too, man. They rolling.
Not like last night.
That's right. You guys take care. Thanks for having me.